How many business owners and entrepreneurs are here? If you could just stand up. Business owners, entrepreneurs, please just stand up. So I'm going to ask all of us to clap hands for them. Thank you. You may be seated. The reason why I ask everyone to clap their hands for entrepreneurs because I've been one for 20 years now. I went into entrepreneurship when I was 17. I've always been the type that wanting to make money for myself, never wanting to work a 9-to-5 job. And that led me into a journey of being a photographer, a cinematographer. I had an opportunity to be mentored by one person that at the time used to produce TV commercials. I worked for free for about 6 months because I knew I wanted to learn as much as I could get there. And afterwards, I started my own production company. I knew what to do. I knew how to present myself as a business owner. And from there, I ran a production company for about 10 years. And afterwards, kind of started getting bored and tired of it. So I needed something a lot more exciting. Started marketing. The current business I have as a client is a company called Yasia, which essentially is basically a business that's trying to compete with. They have more or less the same model. And one of the key elements that I've learned throughout my journey is the fact that a business and entrepreneurship is a representation of the person who runs it. It's literally a representation of you, your character, your personality, your beliefs, your lack of discipline, your procrastinations, and all that. So, for as long as you do not choose to transform yourself as a person, most of the time it's one element that stops you from getting to the next level of your business. And I'm pretty sure everyone in this room have been running the business for probably more than 2 years, and you've tried, tested, etc. And I'm here to tell you that it's a beautiful journey. But the number one thing you need to understand about that journey, it's a journey of learning. And that learning can be painful because sometimes you have to look at yourself in the mirror and actually realize that you lost that client simply because you did not send that email on time. And simply because you did not know what you were supposed to do. You claim that you can do it all, but eventually the opportunity was given to you and you messed up. But messing up does not mean it's the end of the day. Messing up is an opportunity for you to go back to the drawing board, find the courage to learn what you need to learn, put yourself back in the market, and continue to that journey. So the reason why I wanted to start with this, it's simply because I've got a friend called Sarah, and Sarah has been working. She essentially is a baker, and she's been struggling for the longest time to even make 50,000 rand per month. And I've spent the past 6 months continuously training Sarah. I've become her mentor. And Sarah called me about 1 month ago to say that for the first time, she's managed to make 50,000 rand in a month, but also she's managed to get fully booked for the next 3 months within the December season. Thank you. And the one thing that Sarah learned that actually allowed for her to get to that level is the fact that she finally understood not to work in her business, but in outside of the business, not in the business, but outside of the business. Because unfortunately, as entrepreneurs, most of the time we fall in love with our businesses. We make it too personal and we forget that we created it as a way to make money, not as a child that we are raising. We struggle to hire people even when it's time to grow because we are scared that people are going to come and understand what we do and they will steal our ideas. But trust me, there's really nothing we do on earth that is new. We are all just doing the same thing and just finding opportunities and gap to reinvent it. So chances are you are going to become a better entrepreneur when you can learn how to teach someone else how to run your business. So now that's the key part where AI comes in. And I wanted to ask, maybe you can raise your hand, how many people actually use ChatGPT here? Okay, I'll start with the gentleman here. What do you use ChatGPT with? I'll ask you to come closer so that Mike doesn't give feedback. What do you use ChatGPT for?
For writing proposals and just also structuring some of my social media posts. Yeah.
Okay. And you use
I use it for copyright and information.
Okay, there were other hands here. Do you use ChatGPT? Who else? Okay, cool. Could you please just come close up?
So currently learning how to be a prompt engineer, so it comes in handy. I do a lot of posters for my friends. My friend owns a cannabis company. Last week I created flyers for him completely from ChatGPT, but just enhancing them with Canva. I also do a little bit of YouTube automation from ChatGPT as well as Gemini as well.
Thank you so much. So as you can see, we have people that are embracing ChatGPT and AI, and you have people that are still scared of using the new technology, which goes back to the presentation that was shown earlier about opportunities. In 1869 in Paris, they started introducing street lights, meaning before that, there was darkness everywhere. But when they introduced it, people started resisting the light simply because they thought it was a way of the government to start controlling what people are doing during the evening at night. So they started fighting back by destroying all those elements. It took about 50 years before they finally decided to adopt it. But by then, the people that actually understood what was going on, the power of that light, commercialized it and started businesses that produced money. We are sitting at an age where every single business, as it stands, needs to adapt on how to leverage AI, not necessarily ChatGPT, and I'll break the difference later, and make sure it gives you an edge that will make you stand above your competition. But in order for you to embrace something, most of the time what happens, we fear. We fear the unknown and we fear what we do not know. And as a result, we tend to not embrace it and we tend to not learn. But if you remember what I said in the beginning, the one skill that will make you a successful as entrepreneur is continuously learning. So to get to that, I'll try to break down exactly what is AI. What exactly does it mean? What we can call AI has been in existence probably for more than 70 years. It's actually not new. Artificial intelligence, as we know it, has been in existence for a very long time. I'll give you a very simple example. When you go on your smartphones and you try to tap something, it's going to try to correct you. That autocorrect was essentially AI. But we never knew it was actually called AI until it became popular. So AI has been in existence and we've interacted with it for the longest time without realizing it. But now there's a lot more media attention about that. Hence, there's a lot more frenzy about that. Hence, there's a culture of continuously painting AI like the demon that's there to take everyone's job. When in reality, when you actually understand it, how to use it, its limitation, you are able to utilize it to grow your business. Essentially, AI, it's a bunch of computers that have been trained to go on Google and look for any form of information, putting in what you call a sandbox. So imagine a box that a child will use to play with a lot of toys. So those toys are essentially all the data that has been collected on Google and everything that exists on the internet. And based on that toy, you then have a child that comes in and you tell them, this is a ball. Look at this. This is a ball. Please repeat, it's a ball. What's the color of this ball? It's red. Then you take another ball and you say, this is a ball, but the ball you know as the person, it's green. And we ask it, it will repeat first, the ball is red. You have to say, no, this is a green ball. Now it understands, and based on that, it knows it's a green ball. So it's a bunch of probability based on trained data. That's how it's able to continuously try to predict what you want to say next. For those that use ChatGPT, most of the time you will notice that at the end of the output, what you call it, that it gives you, it will always suggest the next thing you wanted to do because it's based on predictability. Now with that knowledge and the understanding of what exactly it does, you then need to understand its limitation. It does not have a soul. It cannot think. It cannot do anything until you ask it to do. The gentleman there mentioned the word prompting. Prompting is essentially you giving, excuse me, you giving that database of information exactly what you wanted to know. And the sandbox I described is essentially called a vector. So it's a database that has all the type of information that has been converted in computer languages that are just a bunch of 1 and 0. But every single time you say hi, it will go back and say, what do people reply most of the time when they say hi? Hello, how are you? That's what it then replies. So based on that, it's able to predict that. Now, there's a limitation when it comes to the data that has been loaded into ChatGPT. There's a date stamp where they stopped collecting that data. But based on that, any information after that data, it does not know. That's the main reason why you cannot come to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT, give me a business plan. It's going to give you a random business plan. That's not going to make sense. You cannot ask it, give me a strategy to give me money, because there's no such thing. You actually still need to do the work. So it's always going to struggle to give you information at first. However, if you know its limitation and how to use it, it gives you an edge that your customers might not necessarily, that your competitors might not necessarily have. For the business owners here, and I'm sure most of them, I would assume, are solopreneurs. So you are the CEO, you are the director, you are the one that fills up stuff at SARS, you are the one that follows up with CIPC, you are the one that answers the phone calls, etc. You do everything. But in that everything, you end up getting exhausted. And in that exhaustion, your customers struggle. So ChatGPT is not there to replace your business. And I think that's the one thing. If you forget anything I say here, I want you to remember. ChatGPT is not there to steal your business. AI is not there to take away your job. AI is there to become the detective that will be able to see certain elements that you might not necessarily see in your business. Earlier on, we talked about capturing data. But most of the time, because we come into business and we are self-taught, we never actually went to school to understand what business is. We made mistakes. We started out of passion. Eventually, we started making money. But we might not necessarily have the knowledge to move into the next step. Yes, we go to seminars. Yes, we go to training. They tell us about total addressable market. They tell us about all these things. But we actually still do not know what it means. And most of the time, it's only after mistakes and mistakes that eventually it kicks in. But essentially, ChatGPT can allow you to do what you are currently doing, creating your social media plan, for example, writing emails, writing your CVs, etc. But the more it knows about you, the more it's then able to assist you better. Context would be, let's say you are, what business did you say you do? Web designer. And you, sir? Non-profit. I just want to ask around, what other business do you do, madam? Catering. Okay, I'll go with catering. What do you specialize in? So just tell me a little bit more. Function parties, corporate, funeral. So events catering. Okay. So let's say you've been running a business for about 2 years. And within those 2 years, you know that normally in January it gets dry because people are broke. You know in December it gets super busy. You know in November it's a little bit okay, but by November already, by the first week of November, you need to start getting demands. People have to start calling you and asking for quotes. But you've been running it for 2 years. Based on that, if you had collected that data, if you had just created a simple Excel spreadsheet that you could go to and start writing, today is the 16th. I got one call. This one call resulted in me sending the quotation. But this person never came back to me. Then afterwards, I got the second call. This person asked for a quotation. And then on the 18th, the same person came back and paid the deposit. Now, if you start collecting information that way, you would have a database of information that's called CRM that you can then use to plug into ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT, I want you to act as a catering service that has 2 to 5 years experience of delivering catering food for funerals, for corporates, for events, etc., focusing on businesses in South Africa. I'm going to update data showing the specificity of my business and the details about how many clients I get, when, which period of the month, etc. And from there, I want you to forecast what's going to happen for the next 6 months or a year. That's basically the way to start taking ChatGPT as a tool and actually utilizing it to grow your business. What that will allow you to do is actually predict the next time you'll get customers, because it's probability essentially. The next time those customers could be bringing 5,000, 1,000, 2,000 based on that data. And you can now do better stock counting, better replenishment of your product, and better preparation for what's in advance. You can then take that same chat and ask it, now I want you to act as the marketing department of the same business. I want you to ask me all type of questions that's going to allow you to, let's say, bring more clients similar to the ones I have. And from there, it's going to generate a list of questions for you. With those questions, you have the information because those are the people you deal with. And if the questions it gives you seems like you actually have no idea, you can ask it back. Please bring those questions to a level of an entrepreneur that just started businesses, but that might not necessarily have the technicalities and the wording that you are using. It's going to bring it down. From there, you can answer all the questions. And from there, it's going to create what's called ideal customer profile, which essentially are the different people that are coming to you that you could service. Based on that, you can take it even further. Now that you know how these people think, where they come from, where they live, how would I speak to those people for them to relate to my product? Let's say, for example, for a corporate event, you can create a copy when it comes to that. Now the copy you are creating for your social media post is targeted to the specific ICP that represent your business. You can even go further. I'm in the catering industry. Can you please go on the internet? Because you can ask ChatGPT on go on the internet, but I believe it's only on the paid version now. So as a business owner, I would advise you to add it as one of your costs for your business. You can then ask it to go on the internet and ask it to find as much information on the CIPC, because information on the CIPC is public, and find out what's the total market share of the catering industry in South Africa, what's the anticipated growth percentage per year, and what are the trends that I need to watch out or the laws that I need to be taking into consideration for the growth of my business. The lady earlier said that the industry you are in needs to be defined clearly. You need to keep an eye of what's happening in that industry. Because, for example, because of AI, there will be certain industries that are going to be wiped out. But if you have that information way in advance, it then gives you an opportunity to plan better, to look at your skill gap, and see how you can pivot into another business. So now, based on that data, it allows you to start predicting, what do I need to what do I need to do to grow my business? And what's the potential of my business actually achieving what I want it to achieve? Because again, I said in the beginning, we get into business most of the time to just make end means. But the more you run it, unfortunately, it does not feel like a 9 to 5, but it feels like a 24/7. And unfortunately, we do not spend much time to educate ourselves about the industries we are in, the potential of growth of those industries, and the limitations that you could actually face to grow as a business. Unfortunately, sir, websites are going to disappear. Being a web designer will not work anymore. However, if you've been coding with HTML, that specific knowledge then allows you to become an AI, agency automation, for example. Basically what I do. Is it easy? No. But there is an opportunity for you with the jobs that are going to die by AI to reinvent yourself. What's going to happen within the next 10 to 15 years? There is going to be quite a lot of people that will lose their jobs, unfortunately, because of AI. But the one that will make it will have to follow the same pattern as it was when industrialization came in. What happened is schools were created in order to create a class of people that will work for businesses and industries. But eventually, those people that studied, etc., could not find a job in those industries because everything was automated with conveyors, with machines, etc. So there was a lot of retrenchment in the, I think it was in the early 1900. And based on that, the businesses that retrenched people still found a way to hire those people back, because those people that were retrenched went back and learned how to fix the computers, the machines that these businesses now put in, and they got their jobs back. That's how engineers were born. So the same thing is going to happen with AI. People are going to lose their jobs, unfortunately. But the entrepreneurs, the business minded, and all those people will have an opportunity to go back to the drawing board, learn, and from there, come back into businesses and guide them on how to use AI. I want to pick one business and I'll bring you on stage and we'll go live into a demonstration on how best we can use AI. So if anyone is willing to have the questions answered by AI. No one? You are shy. Okay, I'll pick a random business. Okay, you can come, sir. What do you do, sir?
I'm an independent contractor for a insurance company. We just lead generate. We create leads for them. They sell their insurances and then we get paid for as long as those people are paying for their insurance.
Okay, cool. So basically, you do lead generation.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what channel do you use?
Well, I use Facebook, WhatsApp statuses, the usual.
Okay, do you run organic or you do paid media?
No, just organic.
Just organic. So you create content, put it online, put a link, which becomes your lead generation, acquire the link, and then you send it directly to the clients. And then from there, once it's confirmed, they come back to you and you get a commission. And for as long as the lifetime value of the customer continues, you still get paid.
That's it.
Okay, what's your company name?
It's Dew Point.
Dew Point.
Yeah, DUE
DUE
POINT.
POINT. Okay, cool. So, last question. What's the type of insurance that you are selling?
There's 8 insurances from funeral cover, medical aid, tax-free investments, your mechanical warranties. So they've got 8 of them.
Okay, cool.
Just to name a few, it's the organs.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing really well. Thanks for asking. I hope you're doing great too. Let me know what's on your mind or how can I help you today.
All right, cool. I've got an assignment for you. Are you ready for it?
Absolutely. I'm ready to dive in. Just let me know the details of the assignment and we'll get started.
All right, cool. So I've got a lead generation company that essentially focuses on acquiring leads for funeral cover company. However, I want us to define what's going to be the perfect market for it, specifically in South Africa. So I want you to think of the main reason why people actually get funeral cover specifically in South Africa. And I want you to focus on a medium to low LSM.
Absolutely. Let's dive into it. So in South Africa, when you're looking at the medium to low income segment, often referred to as LSM groups, funeral cover is really a cultural and practical necessity. It's not just about the financial aspect, it's about the social and cultural expectation of providing a dignified farewell. For a lot of medium to low income households, there's this strong sense of community and family responsibility. So having funeral cover means they won't be left scrambling to raise funds at a very emotionally difficult time. In terms of targeting that perfect market, you're looking at people who are typically the heads of households or the primary decision makers in these families. Also, people in their late 30s to 50s who are thinking ahead about family security. They want affordable premiums and straightforward benefits, and they value reliability and trust in the provider. So your perfect market is going to be those community-focused, family-oriented individuals who see funeral cover as a kind of peace of mind investment. They're not necessarily looking for luxury. They just want to know that when the time comes, they can give their loved ones a respectful send-off without financial stress.
All right, cool. That's perfect. So now based on that, I want you to think of how to communicate to, let's say, a 30 to 35 years old homeowner that probably is on his third job and that has an income of about 35,000 rand cost to company and that lives in Soweto and that can afford to pay about 150 to 200 rand per month. He comes from a background of, let's say, a household of about 5 people, and he's the breadwinner.
Absolutely. Let's shape that communication. So you're talking to someone who's a young homeowner in their early 30s, living in a place like Soweto, earning a steady income and supporting a family of about 5 people. They can manage a modest monthly premium around 150 to 200 Rand. You want to reach out to them in a way that feels personal, relatable, and really taps into their sense of responsibility and pride. So you can say something like, hey, man, we know you're working hard to build a stable future for your family. As someone who's got a lot on their plate and a household depending on this, having a simple, affordable funeral plan is really just about getting yourself and your loved ones peace of mind. For as little as 150 Rand a month, you can make sure that when life's unexpected moments happen, your family's taken care of without any added stress. We get that you're building a legacy and that looking after your family is your top priority. That's why Funeral Recover is designed for people just like you. So you keep focusing on what matters most, knowing that you've got a reliable safety net in place. In other words, you're speaking directly to their sense of responsibility and offering them a practical, affordable solution that fits right into their budget and lifestyle.
All right, cool. So I want to take it back to social media and I want to focus only on Instagram. You know the type of hooks that perform best, but I want you to be very careful considering that funeral is quite a sensitive matter. I want you to come up with a script that's going to be about 15 seconds that can be sent to an influencer that will be creating content for the funeral cover.
Absolutely. Let's craft something sensitive yet engaging for Instagram. Video script, 15 seconds. A warm, comforting scene. Maybe the influencer sitting in a family living room, speaking gently into the camera. You know, we all want to look after our families, especially when life throws us the unexpected. That's why just a small step today, like having a simple funeral plan, can mean everything tomorrow. It's not about being gloomy. It's about giving your loved ones the comfort knowing you've got it covered. Because caring for your family is the greatest love of all. This kind of short, heartfelt message is gentle and focuses on the positive aspects, caring for family without being heavy. It's a respected way to get the message across and works cool for an influencer to share on Instagram.
What do you think of that?
That was awesome.
Thank you. So that just
Great. That was great. Very insightful. I think I was using ChatGPT the wrong way. I've got one in my phone, but I just didn't think of using it the way that you just taught me now.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. So that's just one of the 1 billion other ways that you can use AI. Remember to feed information into AI about yourself, about your business. Do not be scared thinking it's going to take it and do some weird things with it. Obviously, don't post your personal details there. But I can guarantee you, anything that you will speak about your business, it has heard it before. So in closing, I run obviously two companies called Just Sugar Media and Etc. AI. But I also teach people about AI. So you can scan here or you can take a picture of this to get access to the presentation. And I have a YouTube channel and I also have an Instagram account. Thank you so much.